Hey everyone, I wanted to just take a minute and welcome you all to the third webinar we've had together. Today we're going to be really going through how to manage your listings within the system. And so once you logged in to your IQ Office, you can actually always access your listings from the homepage underneath the active listings section, or you can go to the listings icon on the left-hand side of the screen and click on the listings word underneath for sale, and that will take you to the all listings dashboard. And from this all listings dashboard, you can see all of the listings within your office. You also will have a tab at the top if you have listings that says my listings, and if you click there, you'll see only your listings. And when you do that, you have the ability to do a little bit more. So with other people's listings, you will be given the ability to do some social sharing, so that if Josie gives Tamra permission to share her listing on social media, Tamra can do that and access those sharing links. Those sharing links that I'm talking about, you can find underneath this Actions tab. And when you click on the Actions tab, you're given the opportunity to share the details, the showcase, or the single listing website. When you do that, you can click on this globe, and that will show you the difference in those websites. So the detail page looks something like this. The showcase page looks something like this. And notice it's taking you to the company page and showing the listing below. But the difference really in that single listing website, the SLW, is the branding of the actual web address. So the web address is given the address at the beginning. So you can tell your clients that you're creating a web address that looks and takes care of them and really brands their address. So that's the difference in those three different sites when you see that here. To share them on social media, it's pretty easy. You just click on the icon, whether it's Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, or Pinterest that you'd like to share it on. You click, it will open up your Facebook. It lets you post it to Facebook here, and you can choose where you want to share it on the upper side. Going back into your listing, let's go ahead and open up your listing to really look at what you can edit and where things are feeding from. So we are pulling information from your MLS as often as your MLS will export it. So if your MLS exports every 5 minutes, we're grabbing it every 5 minutes. We're actually reaching out to your MLS every 5 minutes, and if there's new information, we're taking it. So if your MLS only posts new information every 30 minutes, then that changes the frequency that our website can update. You do not have to go in and update your listings. When you update the status in MLS, it updates the status in your IQ Office. When you update your description in MLS, it updates the description in MLS, and so on and so forth. So as you're looking at this main details page and you scroll down, you can see there again are your sharing tabs here on the right hand side. You also can go in and add a listing associate. So if you need to add a co-listing agent to your listing, you can do that here. You also can add the seller of your listing. So as I start to type the seller name, it being IQ Office, is looking into my customer relations tab to autofill this information. If the seller contact is not in your IQ Office, you can click this little person next to the seller tab, and then you can put in their first name, their last name, their email address. And again, we are going to give the seller a portal so they can log in and see some statistics. We're going to get into that when we get into the reports tab of the listing, but you are going to want to give them a username and a password. When you do that, you'll click save, and it will add the contact not only to the listing, but it will also add the contact to your customer relations tab. Scrolling further down, we do pull the images from your MLS. If you are not satisfied with the resolution of the images that are in your IQ Office, maybe you want to add larger files, you want to reorder these, you can always go in and drag and drop to reorder these images. Know that there's a save button at the bottom of this that you have to click in order for that to save. You also can upload additional images. If you choose to upload additional images directly to your IQ office, you need to know that by editing the images, the property will no longer download from the MLS. That's done to prevent duplicates. It's done to make sure that you are not rearranging all your photos in IQ Office and then having the MLS just overwrite that process. So know that you can do that. You do have to click You Understand in order to upload photos. The next thing I want to talk about is the MLS remarks. So we all agree to play nice in the sandbox. Here in Coeur d'Alene, there's actually a rule that says you can't put a builder description in the MLS remarks. So you can't say that Aspen Homes or Greenstone Homes or XYZ Homes house in the MLS remarks, so that when the MLS is feeding that out to other brokerages, it doesn't appear to promote another builder. Now, if you want that to display in your description on your website, you can go in and you can change the description here in this box, and the same thing will happen here. So if you change this, you need to make sure at the top that you say, no, do not update from MLS. That way your remarks are not getting updated. The next section underneath that is the story. So we talked a little bit about when you add your seller to the listing, it creates a seller portal. And as part of that seller portal, they're given access to go ahead and share a story about their home. So they can type about all the wonderful Halloweens they've had or the 4-H animals they've raised on this farm and how they really have had great family memories and all of those type of things. In order for that story to display on the website, you, the agent, do have to go in and approve that. The reason is we wouldn't want your client unknowingly to go in and say something that was against fair housing or equal housing rules and get you, the agent, in trouble. So your seller goes in and they say, we don't want any kids coming into our house for showings. We are single adults and a family with kids can't buy this house. You as the agent need to be able to proof that and change that before it goes on your website so that you are not unintentionally getting yourself in trouble or your sellers aren't unknowingly getting you in trouble. So to make the story active, you would just change this from inactive to active, hit save at the top, and then it would save that section. So there's a few more things we're just going to quickly go over, and those are at the top. So if you want to print or email a flyer out for your listing, you can click this print or email flyer. It's automatically going to pull up all of the flyers for listings here. And you can scroll through and easily say, I would like to choose, perhaps you want to choose this open house flyer blue or a property flyer red or a property flyer blue. You can go in and you can choose the property flyer. It's automatically going to insert all of the information about your listing into those sections. And you can go in and anything you can hover over with your mouse is something that you can change. So you can click on the photo and select from property images, and you can change those photos. It'll process, it will crop those photos if you'd like it to. You can go in, you can change all the photos. Say you don't want 3 photos of the front of the house, you can scroll in and say, I really would like to show the double garage. Move that box so that it is cropped correctly. You can change the width if you want to make it a little bit narrower or smaller. It is going to crop proportionally to the size of the box of what you're putting that photo in. So that is how you can change the photos. You can also change the details. You can either choose to have the details from the MLS displayed or the description, and then you click OK. And then you're given the choices at the top to either save and print or save and email. So if I click save and print, it's going to process and it's going to pop the flyer up in another tab. Something to keep in mind is if you have a pop-up blocker on your browser, you're going to get a little pop-up block here and you're going to have to allow pop-ups. This is the IQ logo. I'm in as the IQ user. And so this is going to have your name and your photo in this placeholder. You can save and email it. So I can save and email it out right from the screen. I can choose from my contacts who I'd like it to go to, or I can simply save that flyer. After you save that flyer, it can always be found underneath marketing and my saved content. So that's where that content is saved. The next tab that we're going to talk about is this map tab. So 99.9% of the time, the listing is going to correctly map itself. However, especially with new constructions, oftentimes there's streets that are not available on Google yet, and you may need to adjust that map location. To do that, you just pick up the toggle, you move it, and then you can move it back to where it is. Make sure you click save in the upper right-hand corner to save anything that you're doing. Underneath the Actions tab is where you can go in and you can add actions to your listing. So you can take the checklist, the listing checklist, the things you do for all of your listings. And last week we talked about putting that in and creating a My Action Plan here. And then once you have that, you can go in and you can attach that action plan. So I can actually go in, I can click Add Action Plan, I can check the new listing action plan and have that saved to the listing. When I do that, it's going to automatically complete all of the things that have already been done for the listing. I can see though here I've got showing instructions, add seller to action plan. I can also go in and I can edit, complete, or delete any of these actions. So if there's something you don't want to have be part of your plan and you're using the company plan, you can absolutely go in and do that. You also can remove the entire plan by clicking on this delete button, or individual actions again by clicking on the actions and then the delete. The next tab we're going to talk about is attachments. So underneath attachments, if you would like the property condition report, or perhaps you have a plot map or the CC&Rs and you want that to be something that is public on the website for consumers, you can upload a file here. To do that, you click upload a file, you add a file, you select what you would like it to be, and it will automatically upload that to the listing. I can see here there's an open house when it was modified. I also can go in, I can download the file, I can move it, I can copy it, I can rename it, or I can delete it. The next section we're going to talk about is the open house section. So when I go into open houses, you can schedule all your open houses here. They also do feed through from the MLS. So you can schedule them here if you want them just to be on your website. You can schedule them from the MLS. To schedule them within our system, you go to schedule an open house. You choose who's holding it open. You choose the date. You choose the times. You can add multiple dates if you would like, and then you click finish. Once you do that, it's going to show that there's an open house and when that open house is on your main details tab. You also can access the open house sign-in page, which we're going to talk about in a little bit, right from that home details tab. For showings, I know you guys use showing time, so this tab will not be applicable for you. And the last thing I want to talk about within the listing detail page is this reports tab. So underneath the reports tab, once you've added the seller here on the home page, or you can add the seller here on the reports tab, you have the opportunity to set up reports that automatically go out to the seller based on information that the seller wants to know as far as website views, as far as the competition report, and it's really beneficial for you. When I like to use this most is at listing appointments, because it gives me a leg up on the competition. So if I'm going in to talk to Mary about listing her home, I can talk to her and say, you know, Mary, all of us agents really do essentially the same thing. We help you find the pricing of your home that works for you. We market your home and we really try to find the right buyer for your house. However, as an agent, I hold myself to a higher customer service standard. And I know that agent XYZ came in here and they said that they're going to have your website on 85,000 or your house on 85,000 different websites. But the fact of the matter is If you don't know where your traffic's coming from, it doesn't matter how many websites your home is on. And I'm going to send you a report either weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly, your choice of what and how people are finding your listing. I also am going to give you a seller portal that you can log in at any time and see your listing. You can add a seller story, and you also can see all those same seller or statistics about your listing. So that's my spiel that I tell people. In here, you are going to put the competition. So I actually can go in and say, hey, the competition is from 320 to 340. It has to have at least 2,500 square feet. It needs to have 3 bedrooms, and it needs to have a 2-car garage. I can choose the location, the community, the building, or choose on a map. To change one of these, you simply click on what you would like to choose. And then to the right of that, you can click and you can check the boxes from MLS. These all feed from MLS that apply, and click OK. For the map, you can scroll in to the area that you need to be included, or you can go to zip code, and zip code works really similarly to the community, and you just check the zip codes that apply. Then on the right-hand side, you choose what features you want to be included in the report. Listing details, showing activity. Because you're not using the showing activity, I would uncheck those boxes. Web activity report, competition report, and then referrals. So this is how visitors arrived at the listing. You can send this, you can save it, you can just preview it. If I click preview, it's going to show you what's been happening on this listing so far. So here's the overview of the listing, and I can see how many times. So in the last week, there have been no referrals in the last 4 weeks, but 13 of all time. 4 all time here. I can see how many referrals. I can see direct referrals. I can see how many times it's coming up in people's searches. And so it really gives your sellers a good idea of how people are finding their home. Below that is the competition report. So listed in the last 4 weeks, here's the things that have been listed that meet those same requirements that I put in the competition. So you can always preview it here. That is how to edit your listings in a nutshell. The next thing I want to go through and show you is just how to edit those open houses that we put in, and a couple features that you get as well with open houses. So I can see here's the open house that I put in. And if I go to actions, what I did is I went to listings and then to the open house screen. And then underneath that, I can actually see here the actions. I can edit this, I can delete it, I can print the flyer, and you also have an option for this sign-in page. And what's really cool about this sign-in page is it shows the information of whoever is hosting that open house. So if I go ahead and I put my name in and my email address, and my phone number, I'm going to show you what it looks like. I'm looking to move here in the next 3 to 6 months. A really good tip that I got from a friend of mine was they ask if someone comes into the house and says, yes, they're working with an agent. They say, awesome. So Mary, would you mind still signing in? Because it is really important that I know who is in the house for the sellers and I can track how many people came. But in that comment box, just put your agent's name so I know who to follow up with and I don't bother you. So then they would say agent name here, or maybe they say, hey, we're just nosy neighbors. They can put whatever they want there. Then when they sign in, they have the opportunity to text or email this property to themselves. So I'm going to do both. I'm going to send a text, I'm going to send an email, and then I'm going to show you what those look like. So here it says text sent, email sent, finished. This will time out after about 30 seconds. And then I'm going to pull up my text messages. So I can actually see here is the text message. Kelsey, thank you for stopping by the open house today. Click here to view the details of the property. I click here. It automatically shows all the details about that property here. And I also get an email. And that email looks like this. So here it is. Here's the information. It's a flyer of everything about the listing. It also has that single listing website at the bottom. and when it was last updated. So it is a really, really good tool for you and your clients to be able to reach out, capture leads, and provide direct information. To delete or edit this, you can go in, you can click edit, you can change the date and time, you can change the agent that it's held by, you can delete it from this screen. And the last thing I want to go through are the opportunities. So if you have a house that you need held open, but you can't hold it open, you can click on this opportunity button in the upper right hand corner, and you can select the listing, say, hey, I'd like this to be held open on August 24th from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. and click finish. And then it will show underneath this opportunities section. So I can see here that Katie's got some opportunities available, and this is the opportunity we just scheduled. You can click on actions. You can choose to hold it open. It's going to say, are you sure you want to hold it open? You're going to say yes. And then it's going to move from the opportunity into the scheduled section. And I can see that right here. So that is managing your listings in a nutshell. Last week we talked a little bit about going into the tools and preferences, my action plans, and creating a new action plan. You can name that action plan whatever you'd like. If when you do that, you choose listings from the drop down, you can go in and you can add additional items to that action plan. So add the sellers, set up your seller report, add additional tours, order your marketing items. There's a lot that you can do within the system. So if there's no other questions, I want to really encourage you between now and next week to be able to go in and start working on your listings and knowing how to create your flyers and schedule your open houses and set up those seller reports so that you're really engaging with the system. And I hope you all have a great day.